Muy buenas a todos, traders. Bueno, vamos a ver a Trader Dale, ya sabéis, nuestro Jeffrey Dahmer, nuestro trader psico-killer, en donde va a hacer un análisis semanal. Es un vídeo que tiene hace un día del euro dólar, libra dólar y dólar yen con volumen profile y VWAP. Tengo que decir, esperad un momentito que lo voy a poner aquí. Tengo que decir que ya estuvimos reaccionando a un par de vídeos suyos de cómo se utilizaba el volumen profile. También vino Edgar Trades a explicarnos un poquito algunos de los setups de trading que solía utilizar. Y vamos a ver cómo hace un análisis semanal y qué es lo que espera del precio según estos indicadores, que yo ya digo que desde mi punto de vista creo que tienen bastante utilidad, no como para basar quizá absolutamente todo el trading, pero también combinado con la acción del precio. Así que, sin más preámbulos, vamos a poner los subtítulos y vamos a ver qué tiene que decir nuestro Jeffrey Dahmer del trading.
This is NinjaTrader 8 platform with my custom-made volume profile and VWAP indicators, and this is a 30-minute chart of the euro dollar. What I want to talk about here is a resistance, and that resistance is at 1.1556. It is right here, and it is based on volume profile setup, which is called the volume accumulation setup. Let me show you. So first, what you need to see is a rotation, like for example this one. From that rotation, you need to see a strong trend activity, like this one. What you do next is you wait for the pullback to the beginning of a heavy volume zone, which should be in that rotation. So you actually need to use the volume profile like this.
El perro ese, ¿cómo funciona eso?
To see how the volumes were distributed in that rotation, and then you want to trade from the beginning of that heavy volume zone. As you can see, my resistance is right here. That's more or less the beginning of the heavy volume zone. And now you just wait for the pullback, and when the price hits that level, then go short from there. Because the sellers from here, the sellers who are accumulating their short positions here and who push the price downwards, should become active here again, because this level is important for them, right? We can tell because of the volumes which...
Vale, observa a partir del mayor volumen que tiene el volumen profile, es decir, en este VPOC empujó el precio abajo y bueno, simplemente está esperando un retroceso hacia el VPOC que dejó anteriormente y que impulsó el precio abajo. Ok.
They placed here. So when the price hits this level, there's a chance that they'll become active and they'll push the price downwards again. Now, additionally to that, there's also one more setup here, and it is a fair value gap. It's highlighted in red, this area, that's a fair value gap. And in a short trade scenario, I like to trade from the beginning of the fair value gap, which is right here. By the way, the fair value gap, that's from Smart Money Concepts.
Anda.
It's basically a 3-candle formation. It's this candle, then this.
¿Qué me estás contando? ¿Trader Dale utiliza Smart Money Concepts también? Hostia, este no me lo esperaba, ¿eh?
This candle and this candle. You can learn more about the fair value gap in my other videos. But important thing here is that this is the beginning of the fair value gap. Also, beginning of the heavy volume zone, which is nice confluence, and right now we just wait for that pullback and go short from there. So that's what I plan to do on the euro. One more thing to notice here, and it's not really related to this, but the market opened with pretty big gap right here, and I want to show you how the price reacts to the gap, because usually it has a tendency to close the gap and then make a reaction like this, and this is exactly what happened on the euro, right? So it's not really related to that level I was showing you here, but just wanted to mention that. Alright, so that was the euro. Let's now go for the British pound. So on the British pound, we have the same setup as on the euro. By the way, this is the 30-minute chart of the British pound.
Bueno, hay que decir que yo ya estoy viendo el vídeo una vez ha sucedido, ¿vale? Por este vídeo. Y hay que decir que el euro y la libra se han disparado arriba, ¿eh? O sea que no funcionó. O sea, ya os lo adelanto porque este vídeo, ya os lo digo porque este vídeo se publicó hace un día y ya os tengo que decir que esto no funcionó.
And In here we also had a rotation followed by a strong setting activity. So again, what you do is you use the volume profile like this. You see how the volumes were distributed here, and as you can see, there was a heavy volume zone in this rotation from which the sell started. So what we want to do is wait for the pullback and go short from there, short from that heavy volume zone. The level is at 1.3494.
Tampoco.
And the reason why I had the level exactly
Tampoco ha
right
sucedido
here
eso.
is if I zoom this in, you'll see it better. There's also a fair value gap. I highlighted it, right? Small fair value gap, but it's there. And I like to trade from the beginning of the fair value gap, which is right here at that level. Now again, it's not really related, but on the British pound, there was a gap, price closed the gap, and made a pretty solid reaction to the beginning of that opening gap. So very similar thing as on the euro. All right, so that's for the British pound. The same setup as on the euro. Let's now go for the US dollar Japanese yen. On the US dollar Japanese yen, we have a pretty strong uptrend.
Vale, ya os adelanto que el dólar yen ha pegado también un desplome para abajo importante, ¿eh? Vamos a ver qué
Started on
dice.
Friday, and within this uptrend, there was a significant place, which is this one. And it is significant because there were heavy volumes traded here. So what happened here was that buyers were pushing the price upwards, then they were adding to the long positions massively in here, and then the price went even higher.
Hostia, pequeño Dahmer, no ha acertado una, ¿eh? Hay que decirlo, ¿eh? No funcionó ni una, ¿eh? Si has hecho todo eso, se ha ido puro stop loss, tío. Porque lo sé porque el mercado ha estado así hoy. O sea que yo también esperaba que hubieran esas reacciones, pero no. O sea, no ha ocurrido.
But this heavy volume cluster is very important because a lot of buyers were active here. So if there's
Bueno,
a
lo
pullback,
importante es ver un poquito en lo que se está basando. Únicamente se está basando en la tendencia, los fair value gaps y los VPOCs prácticamente.
there's a chance that buyers from here will become active and they'll want to push the price upwards again. This is a setup which I call the trend setup. I trade it when there's a trend, like for example this one. Now you can also notice that there's a little fair value gap here, which is adding strength to that level. By the way, there are actually two fair value gaps, this one and this one. If they are that close to each other, then I look at it as if it was one big fair value gap, right? And it is beginning in here at our level at 145.90. So,
me sabe mal porque el pequeño Jeffrey Dahmer creo que va a enterrar a alguien más esta noche después de 3 stop loss. Cada stop loss es un nuevo fiambre en el congelador.
Just need to wait for the pullback. If it occurs, then take it from there. And again, completely unrelated thing, but there was a react to open how I traded volume.com, and if you click this button which says trading course,
vale, esto ya es spam.
Pues
bueno,
básicamente
lo que ha venido a explicar es que, bueno, utiliza la tendencia, los VPOCs anteriores y un poquito de Smart Money, que esto me ha sorprendido que utilizase Smart Money, así que sí, nuestro querido Jeffrey Dahmer también utiliza Smart Money. Pues una cosita, amigos, esperar que dónde lo tengo yo esto, darme un segundito. Darme un segundito, ¿vale? Que os tengo que decir algo muy importante, que no se os olvide de una cosita, ¿vale? Así que vídeo interesante de cómo lo utiliza Trader Dale, ¿vale? Fuera coñas, nuestro pequeño Jeffrey Dahmer, psico-killer del trading, pues lo utiliza así. Hay que decir que no le ha salido bien, no sé si luego utiliza algún tipo de gatillo de entrada, estaría bien saberlo, pero el análisis no le ha ido muy bien. Pero bueno, cosas que tiene el trading, ¿no? Cuando te gira el precio, pues te gira para todo, ¿no? Así que traders, únicamente me queda deciros que para las mejores empresas de fondeo, pues ya lo sabéis, tengo aquí cupones de descuento, en donde especialmente Next tenéis un descuento, bueno, en este caso una devolución del 120% en CFDs y un 5% de descuento en futuros. Solo tenéis que utilizar mi enlace y el código de descuento y se os aplicará directamente en el carro de compra. Así que amigos, aquí Trader Dale, si queréis que veamos más vídeos de Trader Dale me lo decís. Y por cierto, si queréis que haga backtest utilizando los indicadores de volumen profile, también con Smart Money y acción del precio, a ver si nos puede servir, pues ya lo sabes, déjalo en los comentarios y me atrevo a hacer un backtest utilizando los indicadores de volumen profile. Ahora sí, traders, dale un buen like, suscríbete, activa la campanita y como siempre digo, nos vemos en próximos vídeos. Chao, chao.